Titled Minhag for Women to Shave Off the Hair, Part 4, the Shita of Moshe Fienstien. We discussed in Shir 1 the importance of going through a sugya properly, not just going by one's intuition and gut feeling. We went through the Tshuva Chassam Sofer, where he doesn't elaborate on the minhag, but he does discuss it and doesn't just go ahead and blow it off as some silly minhag. On the contrary, he's mechabed. He seems to so respect that it is legitimate minhag. In the third Shua, we mentioned Rav Avadia Yosef Shita, that he said, simple pshat in the Gemara, there is no such thing whatsoever, and no posek should try to put this on to Sephardic woman. He says, so an Ashkenazi woman do it, and he defends it. He explains it. Okay, let them keep their minhag. You can defend it, even though it does seem to be that it's a genai, according to the Gemara, for the woman to have her hair shaven off. He defends it at best, and then finally it was Moshe Fienstien Eben Ha'ez in his early tshuvas. Siman Nun Tet, Eben Ha'ez Aleph, Siman Nun Tet, has the following case: a Hasidic woman who comes from a family where she does shave off hair when she gets married, marries a bacher where he does not come from such doesn't have such a minhag. So what's the halacha in such a case? So Moshe elaborates on the idea of moving from place to place. When one person moves from one community to another community, then they adopt the practice of that community, whether it's a stringent practice or a lenient practice. So back in the old days, we had different shtetls, different places in Europe where they had a clear minhag this way, that would go back 100 years to Syria, Aleppo, where they had a clear minhag to eat rice, let's say on Pesach, and everyone, that's what they did. And then Ashkenazi Jew moves it, that's it. He now is a Syrian Jew. So America, it's one big melting pot, may not be so simple, but in general, that's the halacha. You move to another place, you take on, if there's a clear minhag in that place, you take on the minhag, whether it's stringent or lenient. That's it. Moshe says, whatever the question would be today, in America, it's a big melting pot. When a woman moves to her husband's place, halachically, she's taking upon all of his minhagim, lenient or stringent. And therefore, if his minhag is not to have his wife shave the hair, that's where he comes from. So now does she not have to shave the hair? But if he doesn't want her to, it's considered a genai him. He doesn't want that, then that's violating his ratzon. And therefore, not only halach doesn't she have to, because now she's bound by his minhagim, not her minhagim. It would actually be a violation because he doesn't want her to do it. And Rav Moshe finishes off the tshuva by saying, and no one should look down upon him for being makbid on this. He has every right to be makbid on this and to say, no, I don't want this. I don't want this. And Rav Moshe shows sources that it was actually used as a genai by Fatoa to shave her hair off. It was a genai. It was something to make her not look unpleasant. And he says it doesn't say that she wasn't allowed to wear a paya over it, but she could cover it up afterwards, her bald head. So what Moshe says, the simple shot is it's genai to have an uncovered head without any hair. And therefore, don't go ahead and put the guy down at all. He says, no, I don't want this. I don't want this. So that's Rav Moshe's position. Does he go ahead and reject the minhag at all and say it's a minhag shtus? He doesn't say that. He only deals with the case of one direction. A woman who does normally shave her hair from such a community to her husband the other way. It would have been interesting to see what he would do the other way around, where a woman comes from a circle they don't do and she's going to a circle where they do and she doesn't want to do. He doesn't discuss such a shiloh. But anyways, that's Rav Moshe. Finishing off our 4-part series over here on the woman shaving the hair, we saw the poskim. The Chassam Sofer is one who really, in 1800s, the Gadol of Achronim does mention it and does seem to sanction the minhag. Many Hasidic circles, that is what happens. That's what they do. We see some non-Hasidic poskim how they've dealt with it. Rav Avadia says, don't push this on this Sfarim. Those who do it, do it. That's fine. Rav Moshe, he doesn't reject the minhag. He says, certainly you can't force it upon a chatan where that's not where he comes from. Even so, some Gemaras would seem to be negative on the whole thing. But apparently, if some circles do it and they're fine with it, then he doesn't call it a minhag shtus, a silly minhag. So that's just a bit of an overview of the different shitot on the minhag. Mitzvot Hashem, we should always have the ability to just look through in a calm, way to see the different shittas on minhagim and not go ahead and just say, oh, it's crazy, it's it, what are they doing? It's not healthy in terms of relation from one group to another. What do we say about this? That Hasidic circles, it is done, and they follow their poskim. Some sofer mentioned such a thing, and that's certainly not, someone who's not in those circles is not going to follow it, and shouldn't follow it. It's not the minhag, it can be a negative kind of a thing. And those who do it. No reason to go ahead and just be motzi laws on those who do it. That's what people do, and leave that alone to them and to them the minhagim, and those who don't, of course, should not do it. Shalom.